Oh, see, this is why I don't like this turn. Yep, nothing good about it at all. Hey kid, it's Dad. Today, we're talking about what is your ride? That's right. Today, we're talking about the bike. Hey, you didn't think we were going to talk about a dirty bike, did you? Hey kid! Tini, okay, Mike? This is my 2014 Suzuki V-Strom 650. His name is Tony. So, why do a video about the bike? Well, a couple of reasons. You probably already know that your dad is a bit of a nut about bikes and cars. And this particular bike is no exception, as I do love this bike. And I want to talk about why. You also probably already know that I am obsessed with being able to answer why questions. And I get that from my dad. He would say, "Kid, why are you doing this? Why did you do that?" And I would say, "Well, I don't know." And he would get so upset with this. He'd say, "Well, what are you doing going around the world doing stuff and you don't even know why you're doing it? What's the matter with you?" Now, whenever I do anything, I always try to think about why I'm doing it. And of course, as my dad was so wont to do, he's teaching me lessons and I didn't even know it. Of course, that was the lesson, to think before you do something. So, whoa. So why this bike? Well, a couple things. So buying a motorcycle here in Thailand, your range of choices are a lot different. Engine capacity is going to be very different. So here, anything over 300 cc's is considered a big bike. And in the US, it's a tiny bike. You know, it's the bike that I first learned on when I was 14 years old. My first bike that I really rode was a CB 650, and even that was still kind of a small bike. And then my first, quote, real bike was my 79 Shovelhead. I got tired of wrenching on that old man. Got myself a V-Star 1100. So I come here, and I really had to change my idea of what constitutes, what constitutes a motorcycle here. As you could see from our walk around, you know, this is a 650, and this is considered a big bike here. And if you are in the market, well, it's like anything else. You got to think about what your needs are. You'll see from our last video when I took you around Salaya, you don't have to get too far off the beaten track before you lose pavement. So I wanted to have something that was going to be able to handle that. Also, traffic here. I know it looks kind of light here, but this is not normal. It's during normal times that we're not at. During normal times, it's almost double all the time when everything's open normally. So a big honk and bagger just isn't going to be practical, because you just can't maneuver that thing around traffic. Oh, thanks for putting that red rag there. So I need to be able to move around, and I need to be able to keep going when the pavement stops. And that left me looking at the adventure bike market. Now, I'd never ridden an adventure bike before. This bike is much taller than the cruisers I'm used to. But before I even knew that, just knowing that was the market I'm looking at, and if you're not buying new, if you're buying new, you have some more options. They're also very, very expensive here. You can get adventure bikes from Yamaha, KTM, and BMW here, but again, very, very expensive. Just you can get Harleys here too. They're just super, super, super expensive. Even the used market. But I'm looking at the secondhand market, and if you've bought any kind of secondhand vehicle, you know that you're kind of left with what is available at the right time. So this left me, I like that Pajero, a little snorkel on top, that's cool. So this left me with a choice of basically 3 motorcycles: the CB500X versus 650, and the one that I'm on now, the V-Strom 650. The V-Strom won out kind of because it was the one that was available at the right time. Things just didn't line up. I did get close on each of the other 2 models, so it's kind of by chance that this is the one that I wound up on. And a lot of that has to do with your mom. I like shopping for bikes. I like shopping for cars. Lots of people think that I'm crazy for liking them. But you know, the whole looking and haggling and you never knowing what you're going to see next, I think it's fun. Your mom does not feel the same way. After looking for a month or so, we went and looked at this bike. So went with a couple of friends who were very, very happy to go, because this was right around the time of the first lockdown, and they were happy to get out of the house. I think I called them up and says, hey, you want to go look at a bike with me? And before I even said what we were going to do it, and they were like, yeah, let's go. So we go and look at the bike and come back home, and I like it. I mean, obviously it's a pretty bike, and it's capable. It's got what I'm looking for. I get back home and I'm hemming and hawing a little bit and thinking about it. I don't want to spend the money, and she comes to me and she's like, just buy the bike. You like the bike. We can afford the bike. It's got what you're looking for. Buy the bike. So I bought the bike. She was right. And I've been very happy ever since. All right, kid. We'll pick up when we're done eating. All right. Let's do it to it. Whew. Okay. So, where was I? So, we got the bike, and I have to say I have not regretted it a single day. Other than the most basic maintenance, the engine of this bike is just, it's a tank. every morning, rain or shine, push the button and it goes. If I've ever needed any little kind of adjustment or anything, the dealership where I got it has been outstanding. And we are going to head over there. Oh, how about right now? There was one more thing I wanted to say. So one of the things that I found so appealing about this bike, and that's really going to be the lesson of this video, is that it is not trying to be something it's not. You know, my V-Star that I had, let's be honest, it was a Harley clone. It was a damn good Harley clone. And in a lot of ways it was better than the Harley that I had. You know, this bike, it is not trying to be a dirt bike, it's not trying to be a cruiser, it's trying to be an all-arounder. And it does an absolutely outstanding job at it. And that, I think, is something that appealed to me, and I think teaches something. To not be what other people think you should be. Just be what you are. Alright, let's get over to the dealership.สวัสดีครับที่ว่าทำน้ำมันเครื่องได้ไหมครับน้ำมันเครื่องใช่แป๊บนึงครับโอเคขอบคุณนะครับต้องการคอนเจไหมครับต้องการไหม This dealership is called Big Bike Society. I'll share a link in the description. And I really could not be happier with the place that I got the bike. Once I even had a problem with your mom's helmet, and I came here, and I was just here to ask them where I could go to get it fixed or order the part. You know what they did? They fixed it here. So, oh man, thanks so much. Tried to give them money. Nope, they didn't want it. It's really excellent service. So for anyone who's interested in prices of any of the bikes here, I will put a link to their website here, as they're all very different bikes at very different price points. And all right, let's get going. ขอบคุณมากนะครับ All right, and we're done. We are on our way. Little expensive at 1,240 baht, but they really know what they're doing there. I actually feel better paying more here than paying half at a little shop that there used to be down on my street. They were not really used to working on big bikes. I mean, they did okay. Oil change isn't that complicated, but I still feel good about getting it done there. So I said about how cool they are there. I've got this tiny little tear on my seat. So I asked the guy, the mechanic, I said, where can I get a new seat? I don't even know where to begin to find something like that. And he said, no man, we can do it here. So what are you talking about? Let's like reupholster it? And he's like, well yeah, we could reupholster it, we could swap it out, whatever you want, man. I was like, dude, you are the best. And the price on that was awesome. We had reupholstered the seat for 350 baht. That's the thing about being here in Thailand. If it has something to do with labor, it's going to be cheap. Labor is cheap here. The oil change, the oil itself, is not cheap. I think it was like 300 baht a bottle, and it took 3, or it's a quart, I guess. I don't know how many mils that is. So obviously your mileage may vary. I don't know where you are or where you're shopping or what you're looking for. Anybody out there, but you know, I looked for a bike that would fulfill the specific requirements I was looking for, and those are going to be different for each person. But those, I think, if you're looking for an adventure bike here in Thailand, those are the 3 models that are really available and popular. Unless you got a lot of bank. If you got a lot of money, then if I had limitless money and I had my choice, I would probably pick the BMW, not the 1200. That thing is a beast, that GS 1200. But there's a GS 950, I think, something close to that. If I'm wrong, I'll put it in the subtitles. That I do like quite a bit. It's a little more slender. I think it looks like it'd be a little more maneuverable and a better fit for Thailand. And it's got a little more get up and go. Not that this bike has really ever let me down when I've asked for horsepower like this. It's always been there. It's always been there when I've needed it. So I guess I can feel it a little bit when your mom and I are on, when we're doing two up on the highway, and I need to do the same type of maneuver at 90 or 100 kilometers an hour. I can feel it. I wouldn't even say struggle. I guess I could just feel it respond a fraction of a second more slowly, but that's really all it is. It's a fraction of a second. Is it the GS 850? Oh, see, that's going to bother me now. I wanted to mention. So, it used to drive me nuts when I would find a moto vlog, and the guy or the girl, they wouldn't talk about their bike. Tell me what your ride is. I want to know what you're riding. Especially before I had come to Thailand. I want to know what kind of bikes are available. What can I buy when I'm there? What can I ride? Oh, it used to drive me crazy. People wouldn't talk about their bikes. I'd go through their back catalog. That's why I'm doing this video so early. In case there's somebody like me. I always try to think of, somebody like me watching. If there's somebody like me saying, what kind of bike is he riding? Well, episode number 4, you'll be able to see what my bike is, what the year is, what the power is, how I got it. Oh, it just used to drive me crazy. And kid, whatever vehicle you have in the future, know some basic facts about it. Know what year it is, have an idea of what its capabilities are, know the manufacturer. You'd be surprised at how many people do not know these things about their own cars and their own bikes or their scooters or whatever it is. And find out where you can go to get it taken care of, and taken care of well. Whoa, what are you doing? Oh, for goodness sake. Wow. Well, you couldn't have been more disruptive if you tried to the flow of traffic. Okay, kid, that's going to do it for us today. Until the next video, I'll see you later.